There's no opposition, I'm sure. Okay, let's go over to the academic committee now. Again, we're a committee of the whole. If you, two has been removed, and that will be, as I mentioned at our next board meeting. Agenda item number 3 and 4, Ms. Tracy Harrell will talk about.
Good morning. Agenda item number 3 is the letters of notification that have been received since the April board meeting. Letters of notification are reasonable and moderate extensions of existing approved certificates and degrees. They're approved by the AHECB commissioner and must be included in your agenda prior to initiation. As you can see here on this slide, we had 21 institutions submit letters of notification requesting 200 actions that affected 157 unique programs of study. The majority of these actions were minor curriculum revisions. Like in April, these revisions include modifications to bachelor level education programs as required by DESE. And also we typically see a lot of curriculum revisions this time of year due to the release of upcoming academic catalogs. Just a reminder, the annual program status change report will be presented to you in October, and this will give summary and trend data over the active, inactive, and deleted programs that occurred during AY25. The full comprehensive breakdown of the letters of notification are in your board book, and this is not a voting item, but I will answer questions if you have any.
Yeah. This is a curriculum revision and change is an ongoing process, and a process where you're communicating with your industry partners and your employers to do the right thing to make sure that your graduates are meeting the workforce and their career paths in a better prepared fashion. And so I want to appreciate our institutions and the number of changes, the notifications, and curriculum revisions. I know it's ongoing work, it's continuous improvement. So I wanted to point that out and be appreciative of that.
All right, you're welcome. Oh, well, item number 4. Yes, sorry. Agenda item number 4 are the letters of intent that have been received since April. Letters of intent are notifications received from institutions of their plan to offer new degrees, new off-campus locations, or establish new organizational units. We received 8 letters of intent since the last meeting. We have 2 institutions requesting to establish new off-campus instruction centers and 6 institutions wanting to offer new programs in the future, which will be presented to you as a proposal. Again, this is not an action item, but I will answer any questions if you have any. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, agenda item number 5. You will see the out-of-state institutions that are requesting authorization or certification of their programs. I've listed them on this slide. These programs meet all the requirements of Arkansas law and board policy. You may notice that, again, there are many institutions that are from California. This is because California is not a member of the National Reciprocity Agreement, known as SARA. So they have to come through us still. So, and just a note that of 39 institutions that are still getting authorization from the board, 25 are California based. So that's why you see all the institutions from California. And then we also have a private institution in Arkansas that is requesting certification. It's the Master of Medical Science from the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education. That's the osteopathic school in Fort Smith. Any questions?
You know, our French a little different sometimes. So yeah. Can I say that here in Arkansas? But I don't know if you want to share. That's of Sarah?
Yes. When I went to the regional meeting of Sarah in June, we got a report that there is legislation in California, and it's likely to pass. So a lot of the California institutions are excited because they won't have to go through state by state like they have been, and they'll be able to join the national agreement. So anyway, the flip side of that is Washington State is now wanting maybe to get out of Sarah. So anyway, we'll watch that. Yeah. So anyway, it's a fluid situation, but anyway.
So, that's a better microphone. So those of you who remember days without Sarah and were involved with curriculum out-of-state approvals before then, it was a blessing. And I'm sure our colleagues in California are glad to see that moving forward so that they don't have to lather, rinse, repeat 50 times every time they want to offer something out of state to another state. So I think that's a good thing. And we will probably see these out-of-state programs come down because of the reciprocity process, including our California colleagues soon. So.
Mhm. Yeah, I actually spoke to somebody at an institution in California last week, and she said, "So if we join Sarah, what do we have to do with you?" And I was like, "Nothing." She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to save so much time." And I was, yeah. So anyway, yes, that's the beauty of Sarah. But anyway. All right. Item number 6 is the letters of notification from out-of-state and Arkansas private institutions. We have 3 out-of-state institutions that have submitted letters of notification for minor changes to programs, and we had 5 institutions that submitted requests for exemptions from certification. Uh-huh. And then item number 7 is the letters of intent from the out-of-state and private institutions in Arkansas. We had 18 out-of-state institutions and 1 private institution in Arkansas submit letters of intent. 75% of these are graduate level programs, and along the lines of talking about California institutions, 11 of those that are submitting these letters are from California. So it's the colleges of health education, the Arkansas colleges of health education. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. Agenda item number 8 is academic program review. Arkansas Code and Higher Ed Coordinating Board policy require the review of academic programs through the establishment of a formal process to identify any programs not meeting the minimum standards of quality. So simply put, all programs have to go through the process. Our standards require active programs be reviewed a maximum of 7 to 10 on a 7 to 10 year cycle. And ADAG holds institutions to their review schedules to ensure all programs adhere to that timeline. Academic programs with specific discipline types of accreditations do not need to undergo a separate type of review or self-study to meet our standards. We accept those types of accreditations as they are equally or more stringent than like an internal institutional self-study. Any academic programs with those ones without those separate accreditations must conduct an internal self-study with at least 1 external reviewer or consultant, and it must include a site visit. So just to oversimplify why we require program reviews, I say this every year, while our viability process is our accountability measure on quantity and production of those credentials, our program review process is the accountability measure on quality of academic programs. So these program reviews are collected for academic year, here we go, academic year 24-25 up to this point. And as a quick reminder, this is the third back-to-back year this report has been brought to the board. Previously, this report was an every other year report. And again, because these review schedules are created by the institutions and are self-imposed, it's sometimes intentional for an institution to schedule years where no program reviews are scheduled or expected. And it's common every year. We also have reviews, some reviews that are still pending submission. So we're working with those institutions to get those collected. We have collected 275 program reviews thus far that were on schedule for this year's review cycle. We actually easily collected over 300 reviews through our cleanup efforts. So I want to commend the institutions who did this work to dig through those old records to find those reviews. So great work is being done out there. And then even for this year's cycle, it's worth noting that the 275 that we collected that were on schedule is significantly more when compared to the 119 we collected for last year's on schedule reviews. So we're seeing a lot of increases there, a lot of good work being done. And I'm going to move right into the second portion of this report for agenda item 8A. It's a recommendation to the board to put a number of programs on notice for being out of compliance with our program review policy, even though we collected what is probably a record number of program reviews throughout this year. We still have some that are outside of that maximum allowed 10-year window for a comprehensive program review. It truly has been a long road working towards this. Our state institutions have been through many different attempts to overhaul the state program review process. This recommendation is a culmination of process improvements. This is not a surprise to the institutions, as we've all been in the trenches trying to figure this out for the past 3 years. This is something we do with a heavy heart, kind of knowing it's our responsibility. Before I bring forth the recommendation, I want to make sure I appropriately frame the circumstances that got us here. There are certainly programs on this list that have not been directly reviewed in quite a long time. And we will require those reviews be submitted. But that does not mean that those institutions are operating programs that are of poor quality. Our agency simply has not received a comprehensive review as required by the policy. So it wouldn't be fair or factual to present the list in a way that assumes intentional noncompliance across the board with these programs. There are a few different reasons why an institution may have allowed a program to fall out of compliance, such as turnover or loss of leadership within a department or a college, loss or change of external accreditation. And a few of these actually should have been paired with other program reviews. The institution may have intentionally chosen to delay the review so as not to conduct multiple comprehensive reviews for stackable credentials within the same program. So it could be intentional even for them to show up on this notice list. ADHE and the coordinating board also recently approved an update to this policy just back in January that fixed a lot of those barriers that have historically caused program reviews to be overly burdensome and costly for certain types of programs. So it'll take a bit of time for institutions to catch up to that policy change. So the following 4 slides list the programs currently out of compliance with the coordinating board policy. Just run through those. Those are all in the board book. It's difficult. We've been in the trenches for so long. We've seen so many come into compliance. It's actually a much shorter list than it looks like because reviews are done at the program level that include a lot of stackables. So for instance, at the 4-year institution, you'll see 21 rows on that list. That's actually closer to 14 program reviews. If I just say, I think you should group these different credentials together as you do program reviews. And for the 2-year institutions, there's 54 rows in there. It's probably more like 27 program reviews. So it's less than it looks like.
Yeah, so as you review a program, there will be multiple certificates within the program. This is a list of credentials. So this is a list of the credentials, which one program review might encompass as many as a handful of these. So the number of reviews across programs would be much less than the number of credentials that's listed.
So if the recommendation is approved by the board, these programs will be subject to a 2-year notice period during which they are expected to bring the programs into compliance. At the conclusion of the 2-year period, any programs that continue to not meet the minimum standard will be recommended for deletion from the approved programs inventory. And we will continue to bring this report to the board each July with the status update of the recommendations. So we'll be back next year with these. We'll add any new ones. We'll pull them off. So we'll track it. So it's the recommendation of ADHE Academic Affairs staff that these programs be put on notice that will begin at this July 2025 coordinating board meeting. And if not remedied, will terminate at the July 2027 coordinating board meeting.
And Dr. Call, if you don't mind, I'll comment that this is our division doing really due diligence. This has gone on for a long time and been an item that we haven't addressed as we should have been. And so what you see is a long list that's basically cleanup that should have been done over the last few years. I want to appreciate our academic affairs unit and Mason and Kimberly. Where's Kimberly? She's there, for your diligence in digging through this and doing it right with fidelity. So colleagues in the room, if you've got things on the list, we're not the higher ed police, but let's get our list cleaned up and get our reviews in orders. I think a lot of this may be communication and you having not sent this information to us rather than not having done these. And this is not us trying to attack quality. This is us being good stewards of the state and doing the things that are asked of us. So I appreciate that, Dr. Carr. That's my comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
9,
Yes, sir. This agenda item covers the requirement in the concurrent enrollment policy that institutions be authorized by either the National Alliance for Concurrent Enrollment, which we call NACEP, or be authorized by the Arkansas Higher Education Coordinating Board. We have some institutions that are transitioning entities. So this is frequently a changing number. They'll move between NACEP and the coordinating board policy. But as of today, NACEP currently authorizes 10 institutions in Arkansas, while the coordinating board authorizes 27 institutions, and those include public and private institutions. The institutions being reauthorized today are a subset of the 27 that the coordinating board authorizes. Our academic affairs office oversees the initial authorization and reauthorization process, which was initiated with this set of institutions back in March. The institution submitted the required documentation, which was then reviewed by the concurrent review committee, and the positive evaluations of these reviews form the basis of this recommendation. So we want to thank the institutions and their time and attention to the important authorization process. And ADHE staff recommends continued authorization for the following programs for a period of 5 years. And that concludes my report. Thank you, sir.